Rod McKenzie is from the Road Haulage Association. Hello, Rod. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
Do you think there is a possibility we'll be short of food?
No, we're not going to run out of food, and I think all the listeners to Radio Nottingham need to be clear about that. What I think might happen is that there might not be the range of food in the supermarket, for example, that we've been used to over the past 40 years. For example, I could remember supermarkets when they had far fewer types of certain foods, whether it's fruit or butter or bacon or whatever you can think of. And maybe there'd just be one or two choices instead of the huge range we've got now, with many, many different choices.
And is that because the supermarkets won't want to buy it at that price, or will there be some sort of blockage at the ports?
Well, it's hard to tell, and I'm afraid I don't have a crystal ball to tell you. But, if I explain what could go wrong, then perhaps listeners can understand it. Essentially, deal or no deal, there isn't much difference. There will be a mountain of paperwork to fill in that we've never had to do before, and it adds up to about 250 million forms a year. Now, the problem is we've only got around 10,000 customs agents to fill in those forms for people because they're very onerous, they're not easy forms to fill. So there aren't enough customs agents to do the work. So firstly, there will be delays, which obviously adds to cost in filling in those forms. Any delays to the supply chain also adds cost. We're not sure whether the government's IT system, which they've had 4 years to prepare for, is working yet. It hasn't been proved to us. And then there's the whole issue of the border infrastructure, the border checkpoints, if you like, where the customs men and women will sit to check paperwork either electronically or physically, and these lorry parks that are famously being built are still not built, and we're not quite sure how they'll work. So there's a lot of ingredients in place to, number one, create delays and therefore to add to costs. And deal or no deal, I think we're looking at more expensive things.
Food? Do you think?
Well, yes. I mean, look, if there is a no deal and tariffs are imposed, then it is very likely that the price of those things which have tariffs attached to them will go up in the shops. If there is a deal, there won't be tariffs, but there might be additional costs, as I've been explaining, for all the reasons I've explained. So I think short to medium term, we are likely to see the prices of some things going up in the shops.
And if you could describe how you think it might be, how bumpy, we've heard the Foreign Secretary talk about a bumpy ride. How bumpy do you think it's going to be?
This is so bumpy, we'll be hitting our heads on the roof and our teeth will be jangling around. It's going to be that bumpy. We are not ready for a new border system. Despite having 4 years for the government to get this organised, they've left it to the last minute. And there is no way that a trading country like Great Britain, like the UK, can function without a reasonably free-flowing border system. And we know we're not going to have frictionless trade. That went when we left the EU. But what we need now is kind of interim period where traders and hauliers can get their goods either side of the Channel and indeed the Irish Sea to ensure that we get the things we need. If we have a situation where effectively the shutters come down on the 1st of January, we're in trouble.